Questers. I'm Baketsu, but you could just call me Baki. I'm your resident cat ear guardian of the bucket list, and I got my paws full today. We are diving deep into another legendary series, whether it's a high-stakes action, heart-wrenching slice of life, or just characters with really ridiculously large swords. We are checking it off the ultimate list. So grab your snacks, get comfy, and let's pass the mic to your host. It's time for the Anime Bucket Quest Podcast. Let's go!
Ready? Let's go! Yeah! Let the next big quest flow. Grab my bucket, hold on tight for a show that's super bright. Is it action? Is it feels? Let's find out what's for real. It's the Anime Bucket Quest. Yeah! The Anime Bucket Quest!
Thank you, Baki, for that wonderful intro. Welcome back. I'm your host, Stefan Chais, and today we're stepping into the mid-2000s time machine. We are talking about one of the, quote, big three of the early 2000s. The anime that taught us that oversized swords are practical, that belts are high fashion, and that you don't need a complex plan if you have enough spiritual pressure. Today's episode, we're going to focus on the anime Bleach. Created by Tite Kubo, Bleach stars Ichigo Kurosaki, a scowling delinquent with bright orange hair and the ability to see ghosts. After a chance encounter with a soul reaper named Rukia Kuchiki, he inherits her powers to protect his family. What starts as a, quote, monster of the week show quickly evolves to a sprawling political war involving the Soul Society, which is known as the Afterlife's military. Bleach is the definition of, quote, urban fantasy swagger. Let's talk about the music. Composer Shiro Sugetsu, to me, is the MVP. The soundtrack shifts from a techno rock to haunting choirs to smooth jazz. No other shonen anime sounds this cool, and it fits the aesthetic. Let's talk about that. The show utilizes modern street fashion in its openings and endings, treating its characters like models. What's great about this series is the hook. One of the biggest thing is the Soul Society arc, which follows episodes 21 to 63. To me, it's legendary. It introduced the Goten 13, also known as the 13 core guard squads of captains, each with unique designs and powers. Watching Ichigo fight his way through this gauntlet is peak shonen hype. Let me talk about the breakout character of the series. It's almost impossible to pick one, but Kenpachi Zaraki, to me, stands out above the rest. He's the captain of Squad 11, the combat division. He is a man who loves fighting so much that he handicaps himself. He wears bells on his hair so his enemies can hear him. He wears an eye patch that eats his energy to make him weaker. To me, the best moment for this character was when his fight with Ichigo is so iconic, not only because of fancy beams, but because it's a raw, brutal brawl between two men who refuse to fall down. He is the ultimate force of nature character. Honorary mention goes to Ichigo himself. He started off, using Rukia's powers to eventually able to get powers of his own. And he goes through a lot emotional moments in his career as a substitute Soul Reaper. To me, he's my secondary breakout character, but to me, Kenpachi Zaraki stands out above the rest. Now, we couldn't get Bleach without the creator. Let's talk about Tite Kubo. To me, Kubo is an artist first, a storyteller second. He is famous for his poetic approach. He writes poems for every manga volume intro. And he does what has been defined as, quote, the Kubo style. He often draws panels with zero backgrounds, just white space. Critics call it lazy. Kubo calls it focus. He wants you to look at nothing but the character's eyes and the sword. He nearly quit manga after his first series flopped, but a supportive letter from the GOAT, Dragon Ball creator Akira Toriyama, kept him in the game. He writes what he thinks is cool, tends trends to be damned. So let's talk about that source material anyways. We have to address the filler. Bleach to me has some of the worst filler arcs in history. The Bound arc. We don't talk about the Bound arc. It just, to me, it kind of kills the pacing. To me, even the Katsunoji one, to me, that arc is kind of filler as well. I mean, to me, the one that kind of stands out when it comes to the filler actually was the Zanbakuto Rebellion arc, because we were able to see, like, you know, physical manifestation of each of the Zanbakutos of each of the squad members of the 13 Core Guard squads. And it shows how closely a Zanbakuto is with their Soul Reaper user. So to me, that filler arc kind of, to me, stands out. But like I said, if you want my chase when it comes to the material, I'll say my verdict is read the manga for the original run, or just watch the anime with a filler guide to skip the non-canon stuff. And of course, let's not forget right now, as of course I'm focusing on the Bleach that, you know, I remember watching on Toonami. I'm not discrediting the recent revival of the new 1,000-Year Blood War anime, which came out now almost 4 years ago, because now it's a masterpiece. It cuts the fluff and expands on the rush manga ending, because when I read the manga, I felt Kubo was like, he wanted to end the series right away, and he just decided, you know what, I'm just going to do this final arc, and I'm just going to rush through it. What I like about this, it has movie quality animation, and it's the definitive version of the final arc, because Kubo was able to come back and was able to give his input, add additional scenes and story that he couldn't add in the original manga version of that arc. So I definitely do recommend checking it out. I know the 4th course was to come out later this year. Now let's talk about the great debate. You know, the dub versus sub. Which one's superior? Which one wins this one? And to me, the winner of this particular round will have to go to the dub. Janyon Bosch as Ichigo is legendary. He brings a punk rock dismissive attitude that fits the character better than the Japanese voice. Also, the villain Aizen, voiced by Kyle Herbert, has a soothing, terrifying baritone that is iconic. Just hearing Janyon Bosch saying, Getsuga Tensho! Kind of brings that vibe, gives you that nostalgia feeling when you're watching it on Toonami back a day late on Saturday night. So I would say I do recommend. Don't get me wrong, I went back and watched the sub as well, and I do give props to the Japanese actor of Ichigo, but Johnny Wang Bosch kind of wins this one because I grew up listening to him when he did not only Bleach but other shonen anime back in the day, and he's still currently acting. So my thing, after watching 366 episodes of Bleach, where can you actually find it? I know they've been slowly releasing it back on Blu-ray, but if you're more of a streamer, the distribution is kind of tricky now. But right now, the entire series, including the current new arc, is exclusive on Hulu here in the US and Disney Plus internationally. So make sure to watch it, and they do have it available in both sub and dub. And I know recently they just uploaded a dub of the 3rd arc, which, you know, they got most of the cast back for that final arc. I know the only few actors didn't come back for the new voice actor for Chad. So you might notice a little bit of difference between Chad's actor in the original series and the current arc. So definitely check it out when you have the opportunity. So, is it on this bucket list? Yes. But to me, just skip the filler. It's the most stylish, aesthetically pleasing action anime ever. The theme song, the openings does really well to fit the vibes of the certain arcs. There's very few songs I like. Of course, I like Asterix by, you know, Orange. Kind of blows it away. And, of course, you know, Beat Crusaders with Tonight is another one of my favorite songs. Of course, Scandal with their opening as well. So, like I said, so definitely Bleach belongs up there as part of your anime bucket list. So definitely give it a watch. And like I said, to me, the story was great. You just got to skip the filler. And like I said, read the manga. And like I said, give it a try for yourself. Watch it on Disney Plus, or take out the manga as well if you want to go ahead and dive deep into manga. I know they start releasing it in omnibus form like they did with One Piece, so definitely check it out. So once again, Bleach belongs on this bucket list. So thank you so much for joining me this week. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm on YouTube, Spotify, and many other platforms. Thank you so much for joining me. See you guys next time on the next quest. Geek on, take care, and watch anime.